Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we are doing something interesting, and that is I'm gonna review this car, this Maruti Suzuki Baleno 2022 edition, on its glorious white color, of course. And straight away let me open the front of the car, and there's a little bit of a mechanism here which was not available in the previous version, of course. And you can see there is quite a bit of insulation given here. That is a nice touch in this price range, especially. And you can see the engine bay in all its glory, and in typical Maruti style they have given a lot of space here, but the base of this whole panel seems really good with that, especially with that metallic finish on the base. That seems like a good finishing touch. And overall the quality of this whole engine bay feels really good, especially considering how it looked in the previous versions, of course. And okay, even the quality of the metal has improved on this, and the body overall metals and stuff. And the new grille design is absolutely phenomenal, and you can see the front camera here. So of course it's got a 360 camera and vision, so that was a splendid nice touch here. And you can see the chrome linings covering the whole overall grille at the bottom section. That's a good touch. And now coming to the LEDs, and here it looks so the turn indicators are not LED, they are the usual bulbs, but you can see the DRLs, and there is a projector light setup here, and the fog lamp is here as well. So there is a little bit of chrome treatment here. Coming to the side profile of the car, you can see the alloy wheel of the car. The alloy design is also really good. It looks kind of sick looking, like with this black and metallic finish combined. And the tire has a 195/55 16-inch specification that is given here. And you can see the disc brake here too with the calipers, so that's a really good thing. And I don't think it has disc brake on the rear, and yeah, I'm right, it's not a disc brake, but it actually gets the job done, so no deal breaker there. And you can see the side profile of the car, and you can see the difference in the design. I don't know if you guys can really appreciate the design changes by looking this car, but I can definitely say this car definitely looks much better in design compared to the previous generation, especially the first generation of Baleno that was given in 2017, I believe. That's the car I own, by the way. And there's a lot of difference here. Of course, this crease of line here, and this bit of design elements here and there, those are nice little touch. And you can see the outside rear view mirror with the DRLs integrated into that, and there's a request sensor here as well. So you can see I just switched on the request sensor. Now I'm just gonna lock it anyway. So now coming to the of course there is a chrome lining section here too. That's a nice touch too. And now coming to the rear of the vehicle, of course you can see the indicators at the back are not LEDs, so same as the case with the front. But the tail lamps are a really good touch. I think they are LEDs, and the design of the tail lamp with this new shape, that is really good feature. And yeah, to be honest, in the previous Balenos, I really found the back tail lamps a bit out of place in that car. It was a really bad design, but now this is an absolutely awesome design. It looks really good. And at the back it just says Baleno and the Suzuki logo, and out here it says Nexa and nothing else. It doesn't show you if you have purchased the Alpha version or any other versions too. And down below you can see the exhaust pipes all the way down here, and there really isn't anything else of note. So there are no fake exhausts, and Maruti usually doesn't give it like that. And you can see here, I think that's the water spray for the wiper. And you can see the rear cameras over here. That's a really good addition too. The boot section of the car, there's quite a lot of space on offer here, and this placement here, this looks nice. And okay, let me just open it up. So there is a wheel here, but it's not an alloy. There's a spare wheel that is given. It's also an Apollo tire, 185/65. 15, but it's not an alloy. But at this price range of this car that is given, it's completely expected to not be an alloy. So that's not much of a deal here. Now let's see how it feels when we close the boot of the car. And here you go. Now it's open, and now the doors also feel much better than before, I have to say. I mean, it sounds more or less the same, but it actually closes with a decent amount of sound, decent quality of sound too, like decent thud to that sound, and that feels like a nice touch. And you can see the plastics over here are really not that great, but they're not too bad too, as they are usually done by Maruti. So that's a really good feature to add to. And you can see the stitching here, this nice bit of stitching and leather finishing. So here that is a good like a good finishing too. And the piano black finishing over here, this is a really nice touch, and I absolutely love it. Let me just sit over here, and you can see, right, I'm probably a short guy in, like I'm 5'5", so you can see I can easily place my legs here. But I am pretty sure even a taller guy, like somewhere around 6 feet or something, can even sit here very comfortably. Like in the seat comfort and the knee room and leg room was never a problem, even the previous Baleno. So it's nice to see that they kept on track with this. And given the the seat, you can see here the seats are not like pushed back to the farthest length here, but even if it's pushed back, I don't think the leg room is gonna be a problem at all. Now let me see. Okay, so if you're too tall, the front seats being pushed back this much, it will be a bit of a problem for you. As you can see here, even on my height, when the seat is pushed too far back, there the space is too low. But you know, I don't think anyone's gonna do that. So you can see here this is quite a good amount of knee room and leg room on offer. And you can see the there is a rear AC vent now. I don't know if it was in the previous generation, but the first generation didn't have, the 2017 model. And here it's an AC vent. And you can see here there are two charging sockets here, the USB-C and normal USB, of course. So that's a nice touch. And there is kind of a pocket holder here, and there is a light placement over here. And there is a handlebar here with a a hook there, and another handlebar here without a hook, of course. And of course the driver side doesn't have a handlebar, and passenger side does have a handlebar. And you can see the quality of this piano black finish. Of course, this is a really good touch. And the seat leather is also of good quality. And before I forget, this is a 60-40 split seat. I think this is the 60 and that is the 40. So it doesn't have a middle seat headrest, of course, and it only has these two headrests, and which are adjustable, of course. And it has, of course, all the safety features that are offered by this segment. So let's go straight away to the inside of the car, the front of the car, of course. So here you can see the little bit of a rubbery placement, which gives that thud sound when the door locks and sets into place. And now let me just close the door for a sec here, and you can see the sound quality of the doors are not really that good, to be honest. Now let's see, we have some button placements over here. This is for adjusting the rear view mirror, and this is for closing out the mirrors entirely. And this is for like closing the, and this is for locking the windows of the car. This is for locking and unlocking the doors. And only the driver's side window gets auto up and down function, the others are not auto functions. And now you can see the steering wheel over here. This is a really good design, which was not available in the previous version, in the 2017 version especially. And now let me show you something. that I have not shown you before. This is the key of the car, of course, and this is fairly simple design, and I especially love this design even when considering the old design, which was kind of a teardrop structure to it. But this one looks absolutely minimalistic, and it gets the job done too. So there are only 2 buttons here, and I'm gonna place it over here now. Now let me come back to the steering section of the car. You can see the Maruti logo here, and so I don't know if you guys can hear that sound, but the horn quality is so good too. And here you have the mode settings and the volume up and down functions here, and mute function too. The call functions are here, and the cruise control and other stuffs are here. And I like this overall design of the steering, especially with this touch over here. It's not a complete circle, and this sort of gives it a sporty feeling to the overall theme of the car, of course. And this is a nice touch. And here you can see the engine start stop buttons, and the sensor buttons, and the light adjustment buttons over here, and the HUD is also here. I am excited to check out this HUD function. I have never seen that in a car in person before, so that is a really nice touch. And so here you have this thing that can be moved, the center armrest that can be moved front and back, and there's a nice little space here too, which you can use to keep something. And of course I forgot this too, there is a door pocket here, and you can easily keep an 1 liter bottle of water here. And you have 2 kind of cup holder thingy here, and you can place whatever you want. So and there is a charging socket here, and another charging port which has normal USB port here. That's a nice touch too. And you can see here there is a space where you can keep your left leg when you're not using it on the clutch, and nice touch there too. And here are the AC controls, so that's somewhat different too from the previous editions, I think. Now I like this clicky feel of these buttons, you know. In the 2017 edition of the car, it was just 2 buttons, and you can use them like you will be using a TV switch or something. But this one gives kind of a tactile feel to it, maybe like you're using an army vehicle or something. So that's a nice touch. And you can see the gear knob here. This gear lever feels so smooth, man. That's a really nice and smooth structure over here. And this, of course, this is the most important thing of the car, I would say. It's not actually the most important thing. The most important thing would be in the front of the car, that is the engine, the gearbox, and the clutch and something, you know. But this is a really nice added feature that I absolutely love about the car. And now coming back to other things, you can see the glove box here, and it has a nice sturdy feel to it. And this overall design of this dashboard over here, and these plastics are of pretty nice quality, I would say, so not too bad. And thank God this car doesn't have a sunroof or anything in it, because if that was included, the price of the car would have gone at least to 1 lakh or something more. So that's a nice exclusion. And here you can see there is a mirror here with a little bit of a light placement, and I think there is a light here too. Okay, on the right, on the pillion side. Okay, I think there is a light here too, and on the co-passenger side, okay, there is a mirror and a light. And of course this car actually has 6 airbags, so that's a nice touch to the car too. Now I think I have spoken for too long without actually switching on the car, so let me just and right now the steering feels a lot smoother than it used to be in the previous version of the car. And okay, I forgot to switch off on the AC. Okay, I actually had to manually press this to switch on the AC. So okay, if you guys have seen this, it did some kind of animation over here. Now coming back to the instrument cluster, you can see this is still the old kind of instrument cluster that Maruti offers, with 2 analog meters and digital display in the center with all the information that you can get. But previously this knob used to be at the bottom, now it's at the top. And okay, That's for the trip meters, of course. Now let me see if I can. Okay, you can see that display changes over here when I click this button. There is quite a lot of information around. There is a clock here, and there is a sensor over here, kind of motion thingy. I don't know what it does. And this is kind of a nice touch. You can see the power figures, the torque and the power figures, how it's distributed in the car. So that's a nice bit of display. I know a lot of people like to keep the car in this setting, but personally what I like to do is I like to keep the car in this mode when I drive, so that you can actually see the fuel economy of the car changing and the range as well. So that's a lot of information. And this, of course, this display over here, this instrument cluster, I think it's an 8-inch unit. I'm not sure, maybe it's a 9-inch. Anyway, it feels so big. So this is kind of a really nice touch that the car has been given. The previous version of the instrument cluster was also good. The display, I mean the digital display, was also good, but this one really is a awesome improvement over the previous versions. So you can see here it actually has on Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and it has a lot of information available over here. You can see, okay, I'm gonna keep it at an angle so that no reflections come over to you guys. Now there's a clock over here, and okay, you can actually scroll these stuffs here. Maybe we can actually give some kind of other information here too. So there's a quick access hub, Wi-Fi, auto, something, and there's a lot of options over here to increase and decrease the volumes and to mute the volume. It's a home button here, and okay, I can actually connect the mobiles here, and there is a setting panel here too. So there's a lot of information over here, and let me just show this to you guys before we start the, before we move the car. So this is what I was talking about. This is a really good touch that Maruti has given. So you can see 360 degree views of the cameras. So, and let me show you this. These are the guidelines, of course, the adjustable guidelines and the auto adaptive guidelines. So when I move the steering, you can see it moves, and this is a nice touch. So if you're like me and you guys are having a hard time knowing where the tires are positioned, the front tires I mean, so this will be a good thing for you guys, I think, like I do. So it'll be easier for us to see where the tires are positioned at when we park the car. And you can see this is a nice touch. This is, I think, in my opinion, the 360 degree camera should be available in every car, in every variant that every manufacturer has to offer. This is a really good thing, especially in crowded cities and everything. This gives you a lot of freedom to move with the car and a lot of confidence to move with the car too. So that's the government should make this mandatory, as well as airbags too, I think. So let me see what kind of okay, I don't know what this is. Maybe this these are for the parking sensor. And now, okay, there are a couple of modes here. Okay, so this is like a side mode, and okay, I think you can see here, right? The wheels moving, the tires moving when I move the steering here. So, okay, there's a lot of reflection of the screen also, but I hope you guys can see this. So that's a really good touch. This view is also good when especially when you're going through traffic. You can obviously see the right side, or with the right side rear view mirror, but the left side is always a blind spot for us drivers, of course. And this is a really good setup for us to filter through traffic in city heavy traffic conditions. And this is the rear view alone, and this is a rear view along with a top view. So this is what will be the most useful in terms of reverse and parking the car, I think. But I think they should have also given at least an option to show the front view of the car to, in case in heavy traffics you might need that to see if you're going too close to a car or something. So that would have been a really nice touch too. now let me okay I think there should be a way that we can turn on the cameras even when driving, even when forward driving. I mean, I don't know how to access that option, but I really think that kind of option will be available too. Now let's go and see the HUD. Okay, I don't know how to switch on this HUD. So now let's talk about the HUD for a second. This is the most awaited feature that I have seen to look into. So now let me just long press this HUD button over here, and voila, that opens. So you can see what kind of informations are available there. So right now I don't see anything. Okay. Wow, this kind of clarity was not really expected by me. This is kind of awesome, guys. This is so awesome. Oh my god, there is a kilometer per liter. So there is an fuel economy feature that is shown in the HUD too, along with the speed and timing too. It's 3:20 p.m. right now, so that's being shown too. And oh my god, I never actually expected this much of a quality in this heads-up display. And you can see when you move around with your eyes, it actually moves along your field of vision, and it shows. And then we can also, I think we can also move that feature up and down too. So now it's too high for me, and okay, you can actually move around this position, and this is kind of an awesome feature. I don't know how they're actually doing this. Maybe like if you're looking at it in a certain angle, it doesn't actually show you anything, but in the perfect angle you can see all the required amount of information without having to keep looking over here. And I don't think there is a gear position indicator here in the HUD, but if that was included too, that would be a really nice touch. And okay, here you can see check surroundings for safety, because I just opened the car. Okay, there's a lot of things over here. You can actually do a lot of things over here. Open display, front and rear traffic. There are a lot of options over here. I'm not gonna go deep into this, and I don't wanna mess with any of this stuff, so I'm not gonna go deep into this now. I think I've shown you guys everything that I could probably, and of course I forgot these two. So there are two light placements here as in the previous version. And now let me just start moving this. And I gotta say, just when you start moving the car, you can feel the absolute lightness of the clutch in this vehicle. The previous version, especially the 2017 version that I used to drive, the clutch on that was a little bit heavier than this. I'm saying a little bit, but it's a lot heavier than this. But now it's absolutely smooth. It's like butter smooth, guys. It's very, very, very smooth, and it's awesome to use. I'm right now I am on 5th gear, so including gear position indicator in the HUD would have been a really nice touch too. Maybe in the coming versions, or maybe in the updates or something, they might be able to give that. If that was given, this car would be absolute gem of a machine to ride. And I gotta say, the power figures haven't really changed much with the previous versions too. It still stands at about 88 horsepower and 150 newton meters of torque, I think. And but I have to be honest with this, compared to the previous versions of the car, this feels a lot more smoother than before, and even the power delivery feels a lot more smooth. Or maybe it's just because I am driving alone on this car right now without anyone else or without any luggage, so maybe that's why I feel the power to be a bit more than it usually feels to be. But I gotta say, the power is still low for a car of this range. It could have been a bit higher. Maybe a 100 horsepower engine would have been much better deal when you're traveling, especially in the highway. That would have been really great too. But I gotta say, this is not a really bad deal, to be honest. And with the clutch feeling this light, I can't stress this enough, guys. The clutch is so light and smooth that the car definitely feels so good to drive. And even the gearbox itself, the gearbox is also not that bad. I mean, I'm not really a professional reviewer, so I don't know especially how the gearbox should feel, but it is not that bad, to be honest. But I can definitely say the clutch, I absolutely love this clutch, man. Especially compared to the previous version that I used to drive, the 2017 one, the clutch is so light on this, so extremely light, guys. I cannot take that away from this one. And you can see when I accelerate, I am on 5th gear right now, and when I'm accelerating, this is where the lag of the low power drive comes in. You can't really do some hard acceleration on this car. This is actually, this is a proper family car, and you have to be very gentle with this, I think. And that is actually a good thing. You don't have to go too fast anyway, with our traffic conditions, our the thousands of vehicles that are going through every day in every road. So you don't have to go that fast and hard any time that you are going to drive. And now, okay, so that's it for the review of this new gen Baleno. And I hope you guys really like this video, and if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to like this video and click the subscribe button as well, and of course share this video with your friends too. And if you have any doubts or anything to say about this car or this video in general, so just write it down in the comments too. I will be looking at all the comments, and I will talk to you guys, and I will of course see you guys in the next video. You guys can definitely wait for some other interesting contents from this channel, of course. So make sure to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned, and keep in tune with the contents too. So see you guys, and bye, and see you in the next video.